Greetings and welcome to this year's virtual reading for the Cornfield Review. My name is Ben McCorkle, a professor of English here at Ohio State Marian and faculty advisor for the Literary Journal. For those of you who don't know, Cornfield Review is Ohio State Marian's long-standing literary publication, dating all the way back to its first issue in 1976. The journal highlights the poetry, prose, photography, and other artistic endeavors of the Ohio State Marian student body, as well as the faculty, staff, and community at large. As with last year, this year we're opting for this pre-recorded format rather than our usual in-person event to celebrate some of the contents of this year's Cornfield Review. And with that out of the way, I'd like to now turn it over to a few of the authors from our current issue.
Vivarium. Butterflies aren't supposed to feel anything when they go through metamorphosis. It makes me wonder if anything about me has really changed. I am constantly at odds with my own turbulence. I wrote about it while wallowing in my own tears, how my torturous frame becomes consumed. I'll wake up, sweating, in the middle of the night and feel deranged. Butterflies aren't supposed to feel anything when they go through metamorphosis. In my darkest hours, I wish I could be Eurydice being visited by my Orpheus. Nobody has ever tried to rescue me. It shows. I am unchanged. I am constantly at odds with my own turbulence. I can feel my mistakes harbor, spilling wine across my breast in carelessness. I indulge in cynicism, and from my own reality I am estranged. Butterflies aren't supposed to feel anything when they go through metamorphosis. During planetarium visits, I wonder what inspired the planets to be so candid with Copernicus. From time to time, Jupiter floats past. I was meant to be there, pulling destruction towards myself on purpose. My landing to Earth was an accident, something disarranged. This mistake may explain why I am constantly at odds with my own turbulence. All I've ever wanted was to flutter timid wings, give my heart and brain time for an armistice. Everything that has ever tried to stop me from growing has become my own doubt, ingrained. Butterflies aren't supposed to feel anything when they go through metamorphosis, yet I am constantly at odds with my own turbulence. Soliloquy number 6. Always isn't for people like us. People who sit here or there with a paper cup full of coffee or full of tears. I don't think the right word exists for us. People who sit here or there with a paper cup trying to convince themselves not to dry swallow. I don't think the right word exists for us or those who depend on Zoloft and missionary sex, trying to convince themselves not to dry swallow all their pride resting at the bottom of the pill bottle. Those who depend on Zoloft and missionary sex drool into each other's mouths at the art museum. All their pride fades away when I walk into a room. There's a cliche line about women and natural wonders. Cis men like to drool into my mouth about it at the art museum. It makes me remember why I have so many blocked numbers. There's a cliche line about women and natural wonders, or maybe it's natural disasters. I have to face the fact that I am a mess. It makes me remember why I have so many blocked numbers, and validates why I never answer the phone when it rings. Maybe it's because of natural disasters that I have to face the fact that I'm a mess. People ask too much of me. It validates why I never answer the phone when it rings, the somber embrace of being alone and loneliness. People ask too much of me, when I can't even find pieces left of myself to give. The somber embrace of being alone and loneliness makes me cry pitifully in the shower at midnight. When I can't even find pieces left of myself to give, I still try to carve out something else. The ripping of my flesh makes me cry pitifully in the shower at midnight. Crimson is my own shade of giving. I still try to carve out something else, ripping off my flesh and trying to present it as candidly as Van Gogh in his ear. Crimson is my own shade of giving, 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 taking, taking, taking myself away. I have tried presenting it as candidly as Van Gogh, but the poems I write when I want to die don't seem to come off as nice. Instead, taking myself away, convincing myself I don't need anyone. The poems I write when I want to die don't seem to come off as nice as Sylvia Plath's on bound paper. I keep convincing myself I don't need anyone as I sit on a park bench with you. Like Sylvia Plath's words bound on paper, people are stars, regard me sadly, I disappoint them. As I sit on a park bench with you, full of coffee and full of tears, I mutter, always isn't for people like us.
The pit. The flames roar beneath, beckoning for endless fuel. The subject to torture descended in, skewered with a pitchfork, commanded by the host. Endless searing cries of the moisture, the water boils out of the limb. Burning, bubbling, blistering. The flesh shrinks and rips, contents spill from what is kept in. Liquid runs down the fork, evaporating in seconds. The middle of the pitchfork grows hot, searing the meat from the inside. Ash escapes the glow, free from the sight. Smoke bellows, foul and suffocating. Extended hosts add more subjects to torture. The ritual continues for an indefinite time. Laughter cackles all around the pit, as those that have been skewered hang over raging coals. The hosts deem enough. Removing the fare from the blazing pit, ripped off the fork, the cinder limb is devoured by the colossus, and beckons for more. Another scoffed skewered thrown into the flames. Is this the perpetual hell, overseen by ravenous fiends, or is this the malevolence blocking the innocents? Spring Haiku 1. It is time to wake. The shards of ice have melted. Let the flowers bloom. 2. Squirrel's bushy tail dances in flickers of joy. They eat their stored nuts. 3. Walking and budding, a wall of chattering trees. Cicadas are here. 4. The scarce honey bee, coated in flowers' pollen, dusting its neighbors. 5. Sleeping on a pond, the geese wake and honk at night, the dog harass them. 6. The mourning dove who, outside my window early, my natural alarm. 7. A rabbit holds still, and its ghillie suit it hides, fur blends with the dirt. 8. A screech far above, the hawk glides in the air's breeze. What will be unlucky? 9. A bowl of sticks placed, hidden behind the lush tree leaves. A blue jay mother. 10. The dark clouds leak grace, small pitter-patter on glass. It is hard to see. 11. Lying and waiting, the serpent unhinges jaws, a mouse squeaks no more. 12. Dancing in the wind, fabric attached to spooled string, kids laugh in the park. 13. A hive-mind hill forms. Stealthy workers steal picnics. Queen must reproduce. 14. Angry hornets buzz. Waging war on the unlike, stay far from their nest. 15. Parents bring kids out. The time of play ball is now, before it gets hot.
Hey everyone, my name is Travis McClurking, and I'm here to read my latest poems out of the Cornfield Review. This is my original poem, McFly, or Till You Fake It. I march in my Timbs, parading my height about Main Street. My heart of gold finally flashing its platinum plating, I look like the part of the movie that merits congratulations. Note, if you favor the taste of survival, your ego must postulate that you are one of the good ones, lest they notice your palate is unrefined. Draped and dripping in American dreams glitter, I strut, wrapped in confetti confidence, without a care for gravity's pull. I have yet to float, so I kick the dull concrete, faded black, cracked like it was supposed to, like its mouth hangs open, lazy-eyed and potholed, bored, waiting for me to follow suit. Instead, I flex in polyester at the assuming ground and the whips that it lets trod upon it. Where I'm going, I don't need roads. My destination is perched in the hovering galaxy, or rather, the space between it. The milky darkness is lustrous, promising a banner of hope all star-spangled. It will reach an onyx hand to pull me up. It has to, before reality notices my happy slumber and returns me to earth. This is my original poem, Loudest in the Hospital. Making the rounds, I'm constructing strength. Each door donned like armor, sterile shingles stockpile, limiting movement like the shame shaded by your eyelashes. An ascending spiral, a labyrinth of regrets intertwined with beasts and false prophets preaching of a better tomorrow. Repulsion is the last thing I wanted. The texture of the air should have been smooth like the coating on the pills, but I step back because the tenor of your cheeks is unerring, ever rosy despite the ruptures. I think of your fears with these needles everywhere, but I know the most dangerous thing in the room is that withered rope smile, feigning closure behind a guillotine of truth. Thank you.